Hello and welcome. You're watching Express News. I'm Prasar Bharati and we give you top 100 news of the day. Let's get started. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday reiterated India's stance of never compromising the interests of its farmers at the inauguration of MS Swaminathan Centenary International Conference in New Delhi. Addressing the gathering, PM Modi said that Dr. Swaminathan went beyond biodiversity and gave the visionary concept of biohappiness. On the occasion, the Prime Minister also released a commemorative coin and a centenary memorial stamp dedicated to Professor MS Swaminathan. Prime Minister Modi presented the MS Swaminathan Award for Food and Peace to Professor Ademola A. Adenle of Nigeria, who has led 15 years of pioneering research of genetically modified organisms in Africa. India has fired back at US Trump's additional 25% tariff move and said that New Delhi had already made clear its stance on imports from Russia. India's External Affairs Ministry in a statement said that the US has in recent days targeted India's oil imports from Russia. Brazilian President Lula da Silva plans to call PM Narendra Modi on Thursday to discuss the high tariffs being imposed by US on many countries of the global south, including India and Brazil. President Lula is also seeking more business and trade with India. During the ongoing monsoon session of the Parliament of India, Lok Sabha, which is the lower house, was adjourned multiple times on Thursday amid ruckus by the opposition members. Amid the uproar by the opposition, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman laid on the table an explanatory statement showing reasons for immediate legislation by promulgation of the Manipur Goods and Services Tax Amendment Ordinance 2025. Lok Sabha passed the Manipur Goods and Services Tax Amendment Bill 2025 on Thursday. The bill introduced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman aims further to amend the Manipur Goods and Services Tax Act 2017. Amid uproar by opposition, the Rajya Sabha or the upper house of Parliament passed the Coastal Shipping Bill 2025 after discussion. Both houses were adjourned for the day. Chief of the Australian Army, Lieutenant General Simon Stewart, is scheduled to visit India from August 10 to 14, where he will engage in high-level discussions with General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of the Army Staff, Indian Army and other senior officials of Ministry of Defence. India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, and Secretary, Department of Military Affairs released the declassified versions of the joint doctrines for cyberspace operations and amphibious operations during the Chiefs of Staff Committee meeting in New Delhi on Thursday. The doctrines defines the framework for planning and executing amphibious operations. The 2 CRPF personnel died and 16 injured after a CRPF vehicle skid off the road and fell down into a deep gorge in Basantgarh area of Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur district on Thursday. Rescue operations began and the injured were shifted to nearby hospital for treatment. J&K Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha took to social media and expressed grief over the loss of CRPF personnel due to an accident near Udhampur. He added that the senior officials have been directed to ensure the best possible care and assistance. Union Minister for Women and Child Development Annapurna Devi inaugurated the second edition of UN Women's flagship capacity building program, She Laid Second, workshop for women leaders in New Delhi on Thursday. The Election Commission of India has notified the schedule for vice presidential election. The commission has mentioned September 9 as the scheduled day for the VP poll. The IT Conclave 2025 was inaugurated in New Delhi on Thursday. Speaking at the event, Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways Sarvananda Sonowal said that digital transformation is powering Bharat's Viksit maritime sector. India celebrates 11th edition of the National Handloom Day in New Delhi, where Minister of Textiles Giriraj Singh inaugurated the India International Expo for B2B platform. The exhibition showcases products of over 100 weavers from across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended heartfelt wishes to the nation on the occasion of National Handloom Day, celebrating the vibrant legacy of India's weaving traditions. India's Ministry of Culture is set to launch a week-long cleanliness campaign titled Har Ghar Tiranga, Har Ghar Swachhta from August 8 to 15, 2025 in celebration of Independence Day. Indian equity indices Sensex settled marginally higher, recovers over 750 points from day's low, gains over 80 points to settle at 80,623. Nifty also rebounded from a fall of 221 points to reclaim the 24,500 level. Indian rupee falls 3 paise to close at 87.7 against US dollar on Thursday. Gold futures maturing on October 3rd were priced at rupees 1,01,539 per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for September 5th maturity stood at rupees 1,14,961 per kilograms on the MCX. A survey conducted by the Reserve Bank of India showed that India's merchandise imports to grow twice than exports in current financial year. Oil prices steadied on Thursday after Kremlin announced Trump-Putin meeting. Brent crude futures were up 0.3% at $67 per barrel. US President Donald Trump on Thursday demanded the immediate resignation of Intel's new CEO Lip-Bu Tan, calling him highly conflicted due to his ties to Chinese firms and raising doubts about the future of the American chip icon. Brazilian fishing industry is worried about the impact of US tariffs as they brace for more job losses and bankruptcies. The major cause of worry is export restriction, forcing them to sell most of their produce to the US. Walt Disney reported strong quarterly results, surpassing expectations and raising its annual profit forecast driven by its streaming business. Disney announced a multi-year NFL draft rights extension, expanding coverage across Disney+, Hulu, ESPN and ABC starting 2026. US President Donald Trump said that he has no knowledge that the United States imports Russian chemicals and fertilizers. Trump still thinks that Indian economy is dependent on Russian oil and doesn't care if New Delhi has diversified its energy needs. Donald Trump also said that he would impose a 100% tariff on computer chips and semiconductors, but added that companies that manufacture computer chips in the country would be spared. Taiwanese chip-making giant TSMC is exempt from Trump's 100% tariff on semiconductor chips, as Taiwan's main exporter TSMC has factories in the United States. South Korea's top trade envoy Yeo Han-koo announced on Thursday that major chip makers Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix will be exempted from 100% US tariffs on semiconductors. Trump announced that Apple will invest an additional $100 billion in the US, a move which could help it sidestep potential tariffs on iPhones. Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said on Thursday that Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump will meet in the coming days. Earlier in a social media post, Donald Trump also said his special envoy Steve Witkoff had made great progress in his meeting with Russian President Putin. Witkoff met Putin for around 3 hours on a last-minute mission to seek a breakthrough in the Russia-Ukraine. The US is still expected to impose secondary sanctions against Russia on Friday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke to Germany's Friedrich Merz on Thursday to discuss developments after US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff met the Russian president. Russian President Vladimir Putin held talks with the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, in Moscow on Thursday. Putin said it was important for the two of them to discuss regional security. Britain has begun detaining migrants under a new return deal with France aimed at curbing small boat crossings. So far in 2025, over 25,000 people have crossed the channel in small boats. Thailand and Cambodia agreed upon extending an ongoing ceasefire reached between them last week after a fierce military engagement. Both sides have also agreed to avoid misinformation to ensure de-escalation of tensions. Thousands of Cambodian migrant workers have fled Thailand following deadly border clashes. Cambodia's Labour Ministry has reported over 750,000 returnees since July 24, citing safety fears and alleged attacks on migrants. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will convene his security cabinet on Thursday at his office in Jerusalem and is expected to approve fresh plans for the continuation of the conflict in Gaza. South Korea and the United States will conduct major joint military drills starting on the 18th of August. The 11-day annual exercise is called Ulchi Freedom Shield. South Korean investigators requested a warrant on Thursday to arrest former First Lady Kim Kyon-hee on corruption charges, raising the possibility she could join ex-President Yoon Suk-yeol in detention. Hundreds of migrants departed in a caravan from the southern Mexican city of Tapachula on Wednesday, aiming to relocate to other cities within the country or seek settlement options abroad. At least 5 people were killed and 29 injured after a suspension bridge at a tourist attraction in northwest China's Xinjiang broke. US police have released a photo of an army sergeant suspected of shooting and wounding 5 soldiers on Wednesday at Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield near Savannah, Georgia. All 5 soldiers are in stable condition following the incident. United Airlines aircrafts were grounded at the Chicago O'Hare International Airport during a tech outage on Wednesday evening. The airline said that a technology issue has been resolved. We are heading for a short break. We will be back with the Express News in just a bit. Stay tuned to DD India.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. Let's resume. Chief Minister of India's northern state of Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami, met with Disaster Response Force and administrative officials in Uttarkashi to review the progress in rescue operations after a cloudburst caused havoc. Dhami also ordered to monitor the supply of drinking water and food grains along with the early restoration of roads, communication and electricity. CM Dhami visits disaster-affected patients admitted at Uttarkashi Hospital. The Chief Minister inquired about their well-being and recovery. Army teams rushed to aid victims after cloudburst, offering medical help and rescue support. Army dogs were airlifted and joined the personnel in search for survivors. As part of the Uttarkashi disaster relief operation, rescued individuals were airlifted on Thursday from Dehradun via Chinook helicopter. Medical checkups are being conducted at the airport. Despite massive landslides and debris, the Border Roads Organization is relentlessly working to restore the Gangotri National Highway. Over 270 people have been rescued from Dharali following the devastating cloudburst that triggered massive flash floods and landslides in the area. The India Meteorological Department issued a red alert for very heavy rainfall across northern states of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, warning of potential flash floods, landslides and travel disruptions from August 10 to 13. 3.9 magnitude earthquake hit Rajasthan's Pratapgarh district on Thursday, reported by the National Centre for Seismology. French firefighters battle for a second day to control the biggest wildfire in nearly 8 decades. The fire has spread over 16,000 hectares and killed one person. Heatwave due to French fire broke the record for number of animals taken in the wildfire rescue center of Paris. Heavy rain triggers floods in China's Guangdong. Rescue operations are ongoing as crews clear debris and evacuate residents from flooded buildings. Firefighters in California are trying hard to control the Gifford fire that has burned through Los Padres National Forest. As per California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, the fire has burned more than 83,000 acres and had developed from multiple smaller fires along Highway 166. United States Geological Survey showed Hawaii's Kilauea volcano eruption forming lava fountains and smoke inside the summit caldera. China unveiled its first robot mall in Beijing featuring humanoid waiters, a robot band along with a pharmacy and a warehouse ahead of the 2025 World Robot Conference. In a Tokyo studio, shibari master Hajime Kinoko taught the intricate art of Japanese rope bondage, focusing on aesthetics over kink. The Shibari Master Workshops aims to reframe the practice as a form of visual expression like painting with rope. In Honduras, entrepreneurs have started an eco-friendly project turning used cooking oil into dog food and pet soap. The project collects oil waste from local markets, helping in reducing water pollution. Scientists discovered a vibrant oasis of chemical-eating creatures 9,500 meters below the surface in the Pacific Ocean. American musician David Arthur Brown makes microphones in a small Russian factory and sells them around the world. Even with trade troubles, his business keeps going strong. With a team of about 60 workers, the company makes microphones by hand and from scratch at its factory in Moscow. Darth Vader's lightsaber, used to chop off Luke Skywalker's hand in Star Wars classic The Empire Strikes Back, is on display in London ahead of their youth sale next month. The prop store auction also features Indiana Jones's whip and Sauron's helmet. Fans can view these iconic props before they head to auction in the US. India is set to celebrate the Hindu festival of Rakhi on 9th of August. It is celebrated by tying a sacred thread around the wrists of brothers that protects them from all dangers. Prime Video announced that the supernatural horror investigation series Andhera is set to premiere on August 14. Comedy drama movie Rental Family trailer is out. Oscar-winning actor Brendan Fraser, known for his performance in The Whale, is going to play the lead. Iconic, The Howard Stern Show is likely to end its decades-long run as the host's 5-year contract is approaching towards expiry. Popular music festival Sunburn Festival has moved out of Goa after 18 years and will be held in West Indian state of Maharashtra's Mumbai city for the first time. Animated feature film K-pop Demon Hunters smashed millions of views globally, becoming the 4th most popular English movie ever on Netflix. India's biggest movie production, YRF, has finally released a glimpse of the much-awaited Hrithik vs. Junior NTR dance-off Janabe Ali in the upcoming movie War 2. Bollywood classics like Pyasa and Kagaz Ke Phool are to be screened at NFDC NFAI to mark the 100th birth anniversary of late legendary actor Guru Dutt. Salakar, an engaging spy thriller series starring actors Naveen Kasturia and Moni Roy, is set to premiere on Jio Hotstar on 8th of August. Netflix released poster of upcoming movie Inspector Jende with Indian actors Manoj Vajpayee and Jim Sarb in lead. Film is set in the period of the 70s and 80s in Mumbai. South Indian superstar Rajinikanth completed his 50 years in cinema. Fans adored Rajini Temple with actors' photos and movie posters. South Korean forward Son Heung-min has joined Los Angeles FC in a record-breaking Major League Soccer transfer, ending a decade-long stint at Tottenham Hotspur. Son, who joined Tottenham from Bayer Leverkusen in 2015, led the North London club to their first trophy in 17 years. Former Germany and Bayern Munich forward Thomas Müller has signed a season-long deal with Major League Soccer side Vancouver Whitecaps. Saudi Arabian champions Al Hilal have agreed a deal to sign Liverpool forward Darwin Núñez. The US Open on Wednesday announced $90 million as prize money for this year's final major, marking the latest purse in tennis history, up 20% from 2024. Karen Khachanov defeated top seed Alexander Zverev in a tightly contested battle to reach the final of Canadian Open 2025. Khachanov will face Ben Shelton in the final, who beat Taylor Fritz in the other semi-final clash. Victoria Mboko set up title clash against Naomi Osaka in the Canadian Open after defeating world number 9 Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan. Naomi Osaka defeated world number 17 Clara Tauson of Denmark to make her first appearance in a WTA 1000 final since the 2022 Miami Open. The national selection panel announced a 14-player men's squad for the Australia A Tour to India next month. Australia A plays 2 4-day matches at Ekana Stadium in Lucknow and 3 one-day games at Green Park in Kanpur. New Zealand skipper Tom Latham has been ruled out of the second and final test of the series against Zimbabwe due to a shoulder injury. 4 years after singles glory at the Paris Olympics, Belinda Bencic and Alexander Zverev will be joining forces to chase the US Open glory in the mixed doubles. West Indies have unveiled a 15-member squad for a 3-match ODI series against Pakistan in Trinidad. The team will be led by batter Shea Hope and will be bolstered by return of dynamic all-rounder Romario Shepherd. Well, that's it in this edition of Express News. News and updates will continue on DD India. You stay tuned.